Yes, that is a cool title. Oh, no, no. What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. I just watched the brand new Netflix movie called Extinction. So Extinction is directed by Ben Young and stars Lizzie Kaplan and Michael Pena in the lead roles. There is a very interesting premise here and a lot of twists and turns along the way. If you guys don't know how I like to review movies, I talk about the good, the bad, and then give you my score. Let's get right into it. But first, I reviewed two movies yesterday, Teen Titans Go to the Movies and Mission Impossible Fallout. So if you want to check that out, you can do that, but we're going to do this right now. So the basic premise of Extinction. A father has a recurring dream of losing his family. His nightmare turns into reality when the planet is invaded by a force. Fighting for their lives, he comes to realize an unknown strength to keep them from harm. And there are a lot of interesting things in this movie. And since we are talking about the good, I will start out with the performances. Michael Pena, I love him every time he's in the movie. Even if I don't like the movie, I think he does a good job. And right here, right now, I'm here to tell you that Michael Pena needs more lead roles because he has a lot of potential. I don't think he fleshed out his potential entirely in this movie necessarily, but it did give me a good taste of how good of a lead actor he can be and not just somebody on the sidelines. Lizzie Kaplan, you know what you're getting. She is always good. She delivers once again. She is emotional when she needs to be, and their chemistry as a couple is really good. Now, I didn't love the kid actors in certain scenes, but I don't think that's necessarily their fault. I blame that more on the dialogue. They did a good enough job, and they weren't annoying. My thing is, whenever I see a kid actor and they are not annoying, that is always impressive to me, and I didn't really have a problem with either of the two girls. The older girl's voice is a little weird to me, but I can't really blame her for that. It's not her fault. And 1000%, I think the third act is definitely the best part of the movie, and it's not often you can say that, especially about a Netflix movie, because lately, if you look at something like How It Ends, or The Titan, or The Open House, none of those endings worked, and they took the movie down. Even if the movie was already bad, it made it even worse, but in this film's case, I think the ending is the best part. I think the third act is a lot stronger than the first two acts. The first two acts actually brought this movie down for me, but the third act lifted it up to the point where I can say there are a lot of good ideas explored and some twists and turns, like I said earlier, that you're not really expecting. You don't go into this movie expecting a giant twist, and I'm not going to spoil the fact that there is one, but you're not going to guess what it is. And that's another thing that I liked. I did not guess what was coming next, and that's always interesting to me when movies can kind of keep me like, okay, what's going to happen here and what's going to happen now? And I wasn't really invested as much as I should have been because the first two acts were a bit boring, but hey, when the twists came, I got more interested, so that's good. I will definitely say that the concepts were good. The execution, not so much, but hey, at least they had some good ideas. And as we move from good to bad, I'm definitely going to say that there's a lot of people that are going to enjoy this movie, especially because it ends on such a strong note. But the film, for me, just didn't get me to the point to where I was super invested because the first two acts were so, dare I say, boring. And they didn't really do a good job of sucking you in and getting you to care about these characters as much as you should have. Now, the actors were good, but the dialogue and the script is something that really didn't work for me. And hey, if you're just casually watching Netflix, you're not going to care about the dialogue and the script. It's not going to bother you, but for a guy who critiques movies, I have to sit here and say that it did not work for me, especially some of the dialogue back and forth between the families. There's a moment, and I believe it was Lizzie Kaplan, she literally goes, "Who are they? Why are they doing this? What do they want?" It's like, that's not natural. You're not going to say that calmly in that situation. It's bad writing in my opinion, and not very good execution. And just moments and situations that bother me. It's like they're trying to be quiet and the little girl keeps screaming. Why are you guys yelling at this point in time? Why are you exiting the building this way? There's literally a scene where they find the dumbest possible way to exit this building. And I'm like, yeah, you should have expected this bad thing to happen because you made such a stupid decision. I felt like it tried to play off recent movies. I felt like an Arrival and a Battlefield Earth and a little bit of, dare I say, War of the Worlds. Okay, I will say that this reminded me of War of the Worlds more than anything else. And the problem that I have with the visuals of this movie, first off, the CGI, it's not great. The practical effects were okay, but you can tell that it's a lower budget. Okay, that's fine. It's just really dark, and I don't mean dark from a narrative standpoint. I couldn't really see it that well, and maybe it's my TV, but hey, I have it set to dynamic, and the brightness is on 100%. It was a dark movie. The characters consistently make stupid decisions. I'm like, why are you doing that? Why are you making this noise, screaming at this point in time, yelling, whatever. Okay, that's fine, I can forgive that. But then the narrative makes dumb decisions. At one point, the music is swelling. Our characters are trying to escape. They're trying to crawl into this hole, no spoilers. You can clearly see that whatever is shooting at them has the ability to fire and kill them at that moment, but for some reason, it just waits until they're almost ready to escape, and then Michael Pena is almost out of the frame, then it starts to fire. It's like, you could have shot them and killed them like 10 minutes ago. I don't like when a movie becomes convenient for our characters to survive, and it happens all the time in action movies, but you know how many times Michael Pena was running down a hallway in this film and bullets just flying by his face? I mean, does he have superpowers? I'm just wondering. So in the end, this movie was kind of a snooze fest in the first 2 acts. It was a little boring, not a lot happening. Then the alien invasion happens. You see that in the trailer, it's not a spoiler. And then there are some twists and turns along the way, and it ends on a pretty high note. And I'm like, wow, why couldn't they make this story that interesting in the beginning? I think this director has talent, and I want to see what he can do in the future, but he just didn't really execute Extinction, and that is why I'm going to give this movie a 52%. Sure, I'm going to be a little bit more harsh than other people, and it's not really the worst thing I've seen all year on Netflix. There are some great concepts and ideas, and it does end on a high note, but like I said, the rest of the movie is just kind of bland, and they could have done a better job. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you agree? Did you disagree? It does not matter as long as you are watching movies, and Netflix is a great place to do that. And I will be back next week with another Netflix review. This week's comment spotlight comes to us from Nick Family, whose comment I just cracked up at. It said, "You need your own TV show." Thank you so much. That is such a compliment. I try to be myself on camera as much as possible. Of course, you're going to kind of convert because there's something in front of you filming you, but I have so much fun doing these reviews. Even though sometimes I don't necessarily love the movies, I still get really excited because I just love talking about them and giving you guys my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you later.